Welcome to our podcast, It's About Payroll. We're your hosts, Brian Escobar and Walter William Duncan III. Whether you're new to the payroll game or a seasoned veteran, we have something for you. All right, folks, welcome back to another great show. We hit you with back-to-back guests this week, last week. This week we have on Fran, and help me pronounce the last name, Zioli.
Perfect.
Is
I'm
that
impressed.
right? I'm from New York, come on. And Fran comes to us as a veteran powerhouse in the payroll industry. And we are going to learn, she's going to teach us today what payroll has to go through when a company goes bankrupt. I know, right? Yeah. This season, we're talking about the employer's perspective, the owner's perspective on payroll. And, you know, as Fran and I got to know each other through the show, and she reached out. She's a payroll person, just reached out, and we started having conversations. And we were like, whoa, wait a minute. You have something to do this season. We've been planning this for months. And she's going to tell us like what a company has to go through when they're winding down, unfortunately. But it's part of the life cycle in business. And what a payroll department has to go through. Fran, tell us how, before we get into all that, how you doing today? Thank you so much for being part of the show.
Oh, hello. And thank you so much. I truly appreciate it because it is my go-to podcast.
Oh, that is
So
the most to us.
The
Thank
world
you
to
so
us.
much.
Thank you.
Yep.
not a problem. Share it with anybody I know.
And you have, yes, and it's helping. And look, hey, we're doing really good because of fans like you and listeners like you, payroll people. We're in like 35 countries now. We're doing this for payroll people.
Yeah.
So that's what folks appreciate it. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
I truly do. So I'll give you a little bit of my background first.
Please, yes.
I have been a payroll professional for about 30 plus years.
Wow. God bless you.
Yeah. Started out in hotel and restaurants and got my way into payroll. And again, nobody ever grows up saying, I want to do payroll.
That's right. We're going to change that, by the way. But yes, you're right.
Is that yes?
You get into it and then you love it. I spanned from entertainment payroll to hotel and restaurants to e-commerce.
Wow.
And so the broad spectrum of everything. Took everything from each place. There hasn't been that many, but from each place and just took it to the next to grow. So
Absolutely.
it definitely helps. So I think that my past experience helped with the bankruptcy, because the last time I was with a company that one of their smaller companies went bankrupt. But I was still there to finish out the payroll, to get everything filed, and we were still running, but the company was closed. It was a very different dynamic. So that kind of helped here. I also think outside the box to try and get different reports. Somebody is
That's right.
looking for something, you go, okay, I could do it this way.
Mhm.
Other people don't think about that. So that helped too, be able to get, because when you're dealing with financial issues in a company, they want reports yesterday.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
running previews helped.
That's right. Being a problem solver, because payroll people, like, we're awesome problem solvers. Yeah. So tell us, what are the challenges that a payroll department has to like face now that, like, how was that? How did you guys deal with that? Being told, okay, hey, this is what's going to happen. And now the plan, right?
The planning stage was rough. We did everything in stages. So
Mhm.
we had ended up with 8 different stages of terminating our employees.
Wow.
So dealing with the payout of PTO,
Yep.
with retention bonuses that people were supposed to get, making sure. So I was within the HR department. So working there to make sure we got all of the signed forms, because again, we know we can't pay certain things out
right.
without the approval.
That's right.
So I think the first round we had actually was 900 people. So that was a little
Wow.
rough,
Yeah.
but we got that out. And then as we're going through, then you had your separation agreement, making sure all of those are signed and on file. and processing those. So it was like the first step was getting a calendar
Wow.
and plotting everything out and having dates of when different things needed to run and who we had to send things to and what approvals we needed to get. Because when you're in a bankruptcy, funding is also a
Mhm.
priority. Making
Mhm.
sure that if you release a payroll, you've got the funding for it.
Yep.
So that was definitely a big key. The one thing that I appreciated from my chief people officer is she kept thinking about all of the employees and the impact. Even though we were being impacted as well,
Right.
we were thinking about the employees. And although this isn't payroll, she got job fairs set up for the employees.
That's amazing.
And it was for every stage and had different companies coming in so that they had options. We even had Fidelis, the healthcare market, come in for people who were losing
Wow.
their benefits. So that's a shout out to Anna. What she did in her care
That's awesome.
definitely rolled
That's
down.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's incredible leadership. And that's great impact just to be human and to be considerate and folks. Okay, so
Um,
after the planning stage is execution. Now, what does the timeline look like? Like how long did you have from notification to when you knew you were gonna? Because now you have processed the last payroll.
Next week is
Oof.
actually the last severance. By the airing of this, it will be done.
Wow.
Yes, we
What did that
started
timeline look like?
yeah, it
Yeah.
started the bankruptcy was actually at the end of August,
Oh wow.
and we started after that first round. In October, we had a group. Then in November, there were 2 groups. December, there were 2 groups, and January, there were 2 groups.
Wow.
Wow.
What I had to work around was it's a weekly payroll.
Oh wow.
Mm.
Oh wow. Okay.
So when it came time for the separation agreements to be paid out, you had to get things run.
Hmm.
So that's where your previews come into play, pulling your previews down and then going and running your regular payroll.
Wow.
So it was a little stressful, little creative timing you had to work with.
Because you're under the
Um,
gun. You got to turn it
yes,
around in a day.
yes.
Wow.
Wow.
So getting that done, and then by December, it was basically just down to me and payroll.
Wow. Oh.
Cheap cook and bottle office, but it was great because again, we worked as a team, as a family.
Wow.
So that is the key to this whole thing is having that partnership.
Yeah.
So getting everything done. But besides just processing the payroll, the things you have to think about besides that, you've got if you have any of your employees in the immediate pay stage, how are you going to get that processed? The
Mm.
timing for those. So that's a little timing issue that has to go in there.
Mm.
And then on the tax side, you've got to make sure that you end with the your payroll provider and tax services
Yep.
that you get the end notices sent out. Certain states I had to send directly because we were still running, but we had no more employees in that state.
Wow.
So that's something. One of the other issues that I'm still looking at before we completely finish and close the doors are uncashed checks.
Stale checks, SG. Holy cow. What a call out.
Yeah.
What a call.
So
So you got to turn it over before you go, right?
I am trying to get them reissued and sent out to the employees before
Look at you.
because at this point everything that would go into a sheetment is taken care of.
Mm.
But what happens if I have a check today and in 6 months they still haven't cashed
That's
it?
right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Holy cow. This is what I'm talking about.
That's
I love those little nuggets, right? That this is why you are the professional you are and why folks need to seek out professionals in this time of need because of little things like that. Who thinks of that? Who thinks of that? Payroll people do. That's
yep.
Ex
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's something, and then and with the systems themselves, because like we use comprehensive services,
Ooh,
which
I used that once before.
eh,
It's amazing. The Cadillac of services,
it
the Mercedes Benz.
and sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not.
Mhm.
Overall, it's good. It's just you don't
Correct.
have as much leeway to do things, but
You don't
because
have the
of
flex that you want sometimes to be that background ninja and make things happen.
yes,
I get
but
it.
I work with my team and they understand what I need, so
Yep.
they're taking
Mhm.
care of it over there.
Yep.
But what happens is once you sign that termination agreement with the payroll provider, you only have 1 month left on the system before you
Mhm.
completely lose your access.
Gotcha.
So you need to make sure you get everything
Mm.
because you need to get all of your history that you have
Yeah,
there.
there you
The
go.
the
Yep.
payroll files, the employee data,
Yep.
and the company wants you to pay for that. So I'm like, we're bankrupt. I don't have those funds for that.
I don't
But
got
I
a
know
budget for that. Yep.
but I know how to pull all those reports.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Make sure you get all of that pulled, that they have it. For whatever is needed, they've got it. So I've been working on that, getting them all set. But the little odd nugget here to know for everybody is if you end your services with a payroll provider within the first half of the year, W-2s are printed in Q4.
Yep.
And I never knew that before because I never had that.
Mm.
Oh, so we made sure that we let people know that because who's going to look for their W-4, I mean, their W-2 in
Mhm.
November?
Mhm.
Not
So
me.
that so wait, great call out again.
That's a great
Amazing
call
thing.
out.
Yeah, no, I'm learning here. Now, what happens? Is the payroll provider still gonna distribute them in Q4 as normal?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay, got it.
that's part of the termination form that you would
Got
fill
it.
out, what
Got
you
it.
want them to do. The but very important, and you need to provide them with who is now handling the estate, because
Mm,
at that ADP
that's
does
fine.
not does not mail them out for 2022. They mailed them out. It was all part of it, but not for 2023.
Wow.
So they have to send it
To one
over.
person.
That
Oh,
won't be me at
wow.
that point.
Ah, you never know.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, goodness. That's good. So wait, so now so quick question there though. Do you know what do they leave it in some type of legal guardianship until everything wraps up?
Yes, I just still haven't gotten that information yet.
Ah,
Oh,
gotcha. Yeah, no, it's a process, right? Yeah, it's a
so I will.
process. And then just to recap for folks, because you've hit all the notes that we prepared for this on bankruptcy and what a payroll department should do. So I didn't even bring it
Well,
up, but I do want to. What's that? Well,
we have to remember this is not just for the payroll department, it's for what the business owner should do
you're
to
right.
so that
Fair,
yeah.
fair. From the but from a payroll perspective, because the company's got to do a lot of other things as far as bankruptcy is concerned. So that yeah,
Mm.
but and just to recap some of it, is notify employees. Of course, you have a final payroll to process, which is coming. You mentioned the termination of benefits and being able to provide them with alternatives. And then, of course, being compliant with labor laws and what tax laws and what have you. And you mentioned the record keeping already. So these are the things that, from the payroll perspective, we have to be mindful of. Is there anything? Did we miss anything? What else?
There,
Well,
there are two other items that
oh,
I
go.
have on my list.
Awesome. Thank you for being prepared.
So you've got your third party sick pay.
Ooh,
Normally, you would get the records
at the end
from
of
the
the year.
company.
Yep.
I like to get them quarterly so that I can post them and I'm not posting everything at the end of the year.
That's a good best practice. That's right.
So at this point, you have to make an agreement. The company will send out, not your company, but the provider will send out the W-2s for the third party sick pay that takes place because it's still going on. They still have the payments coming in.
Mhm.
So that was one thing to make sure because it has to be posted somewhere. And again, nobody will be around to post it. So the third party providers. And what's very important is 401k.
Oof. Oh my gosh. Yes.
So
Yeah.
so you've got your 401k. It's there. Now, if the company is still around and you leave, you can leave it in there indefinitely. But when the company goes, they sever that agreement. You
Right.
have a certain amount of time to get the funds, whether they just be straight distributed or into a rollover.
Great call out. Yep.
Yeah, she's dropping nuggets, man.
Yes. And look, every time I talk to Fran, she says something else that I want to talk about. Oh, we got to get you back. It's going to be, folks, it's going to be weeks because Fran is a globetrotter, apparently. So it'll be weeks. We'll figure out a good episode, maybe best practices, because that's the theme that I'm hearing. You've mentioned a few things that I really love, and like maybe we'll put like a best practice for payroll episode together.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Because you got some nuggets. You mentioned Q1 auditing one time we were talking. I was like, what is
Yes.
Q1 auditing? Not that of course we audit all the time, but it's wow, I love when folks articulate it and wait a minute, do you have a list that you use? And okay, anyway, let's get back on track. 401k is a great call out.
Yes.
And I'm going through 401k headache as well right now. So it is a really huge call out for payroll. So be mindful of that piece for sure. Wow.
Yeah. There's a lot going on. It took a lot of brainstorming within the group to bring things up. So not only from the payroll point of view, but from the HR point of view and finance, and everybody collaborated. Really, the
Wow.
only thing that I didn't deal with was the actual liquidation side of it.
Wow.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So this company, that's it. They're not reorganizing, they're shutting down. That's it. Done? Or is there a rebirth for them in the plans?
Not for this particular company, but other people are getting together and creating things that are similar that could bring some people over there, but this
Nice.
particular company is done. So,
Congrats and good luck with those ventures. Yeah, God bless
yeah,
everybody that got impacted by this.
Yeah.
Thank you for being a part of it, Fran. And Walt, any thoughts, any comments?
No, I appreciate you, friend. It was a very educational piece for me. I've never experienced a
For
bankruptcy
real. Me
in my
neither.
career, so this is all new information and great information for me to learn. And I appreciate your time and your effort, and I'm looking forward to having you back.
Oh, I thank you so much. And before I actually spoke with Brian, you guys, if you could have heard me talk to your your podcast, I'm like, yes, definitely.
That's awesome. That's when you know
That's
it's a
great.
good one. I do the same
Yeah,
thing. There's podcasts like that I listen to and that I'm like, I'm having a conversation with them too in my head. So that's amazing. And,
yeah, it means a lot.
yeah, heck yeah. We
It-
do this for payroll people, right? We have these seasons like this one for different groups, the business owner. We did the pay stub for every employee that gets a pay stub. But at the end of the day, it's about payroll. We love it. We're so glad for folks like you love it, and we just keep hoping to cranking it out and having good conversations like this.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Thank you. Thank you, definitely. And it's great to be a part of it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
More and more to come. Way more to come. We're so excited
Absolutely.
about the next 12 months and where we're going with this. So stay tuned. And folks, we're gonna have Fran back on the show because, like I said, she has such great information and just best practices. Every time we talk, it's like she says one thing, and I'm like, "Whoa, what?" And I want to keep going, pulling on that thread. So I think best practices is a good one where you can shine and we can like really cover a lot of things.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Awesome. Folks, that's it for today. We hope you liked it, and we're going to be back next week with more. Fran, thank you so much for being a part of the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Well, Fran, thank you guys. Have a great Sunday, and we'll talk again soon.
Till
Thanks,
next time.
folks.
All
Till
right. Take
next
care.
time. Bye.
Thanks.
All right. Bye.
Thank you for listening to today's episode of our podcast.
We appreciate you. We're grateful for you. And we hope that the information that was shared with you will impact you as a payroll professional. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and most importantly, keep going.